Hello, this is Maha.
This is Sahasra.
This is Shiva.
This is our submission for the 2024 to 2025 Emotional Wellbeing Challenge, Balancing the Pressure.
A 2022 survey by the American College Health Association found that approximately 60% of healthcare students reported that they were experiencing high levels of stress, with 45% indicating symptoms of burnout. So the biggest problem faced by future health doctors, nurses, or pharmacists is stress itself, magnifying the pressure of academic and clinical demands due to the constant mental toil. High and persistent stress can impact studies and impact your physical health and cause emotional exhaustion. Yet, knowing the impacts, stress is left unaddressed again and again until it turns into a severe mental health challenge.
When we talk about student stress, especially for healthcare, the spotlight almost always shines on college campuses, midterms, finals, and looming pressure of graduation. But if we only look there, we miss a critical part of the story. Our own research in the biomedical pathway uncovers something crucial. The signs of burnout don't begin in college. They start much earlier, in middle and high school. The data is clear. The middle school students are reporting stress level that we typically associate with much older students. By the time they reach high school, those levels spike dramatically. In fact, our findings show that the average perceived stress rating climbs from 6.3 in middle school to nearly 8 by junior year of high school. This is not just a phase, it's a build-up and a slow burning foundation for long-term burnout that follows to the students into college and even into their career. But here's the thing, addressing it early matters. Studies show that habits of overthinking, anxiety, and pressure are set long before college. By catching it early, by talking about it now, we're not just treating symptoms, we are breaking the cycle before it fully forms. And if we can intervene early, we have the chance to build resilience that lasts for a lifetime. That's why we are here, not just to highlight the problem, but to change the way we see it.
We know that chronic stress and burnout are not just distant concerns. They begin much earlier than we often acknowledge. In our research, we found that the pressure to succeed starts building as early as middle school, especially for students pursuing healthcare careers. That's why our goal is not only to address stress after it happens, but build a supportive framework that empowers students to manage stress proactively and build resilience before it becomes burnout. To achieve this, we've structured our approach around 3 core objectives. First, we're designing a program that focuses on the building daily habits to combat overthinking and reduce academic pressure. These habits are small, but their impact compounds over time, helping students manage stress more effectively. Second, we're delivering impactful presentations to raise awareness about the early signs of burnout. We don't just want students to know what burnout is, we want them to recognize it in themselves and their peers before it escalates. And finally, we're creating and engaging a Canvas module that provides resources and interactive learning opportunities on stress management. This isn't just a one-time conversation, it's an ongoing resource that students can return to, learn from, and grow with. Our mission is simple but powerful. Equip students with the tools they need to know now, so they can thrive later. Because the best time to manage stress is before it becomes burnout, and that starts right here.
When we talk about stress, it manifests itself physically, emotionally, and mentally, and the signs are often more visible than we realize. Headaches and migraines. One of the most immediate signs of stress. When cortisol and adrenaline levels rise, those fight and flight hormones, they cause muscles to tighten and blood vessels to constrict. And this is why students often complain of tension, headaches after exams or project deadlines. Stomach and digestive issues. Next, an organ directly linked to the brain through what's called the gut-brain axis. When we are stressed, that connection gets disrupted. Cortisol and adrenaline trigger spasms in the digestive tract, leading to stomach cramps, irregular bowel movements, and even conditions like IBS. On top of that, stress can cause nausea, a loss of appetite, while in others, it triggers emotional eating.
Heart and blood pressure problems. Now, stress doesn't just stay in the head or stomach. It courses through the whole body. Chronic exposure to adrenaline and cortisol elevates heart rate and blood pressure. It's why people feel their hearts racing when they're anxious or overwhelmed. Over time, this constant state of alertness strains the cardiovascular system, increasing the risk of heart disease. Students experiencing chronic academic pressure often report feeling their hearts pound or chest tighten, showing signs that their body is running on adrenaline. Finally, we come to cortisol, the fight or flight hormone. In short bursts, it's helpful. It sharpens your focus and energizes your body to act. But when stress is constant, cortisol levels remain high, and that's when problems start. Memory gets foggy, sleep becomes restless, and mood swings become frequent. Students might find themselves getting easily irritated, unable to concentrate, and even more prone to anxiety and depression. That's because cortisol actually interferes with the hippocampal function, the part of the brain that is responsible for the memory and learning. This is what stress looks like, not just a feeling, but a physical and mental takeover that impacts your entire body.
We've seen what stress looks like, so now let's talk about how to combat it. These strategies aren't just ideas, they're proven methods that help manage stress both physically and mentally. Mindfulness and deep breathing help activate the body's natural relaxation response. When we slow our breathing and focus on the present, our cortisol levels drop, muscles relax, and our minds clear up. It's like hitting a pause button on stress. Second, we have physical activity and movement. Exercise like running, swimming, or even a quick walk releases endorphins, which are natural mood boosters. Time management and organization. Planning ahead and setting priorities prevent last-minute panic and help us manage workload effectively. Social support and communications. Talking to friends, family, or mentors provide emotional support and fresh perspectives. Healthy lifestyle choices. Eating well, staying hydrated, and getting enough sleep are crucial for keeping the stress levels in check. Digital detox and screen management. Limiting screen time helps reduce overstimulation and anxiety, giving our minds time to rest. When we combine these strategies, we're not just managing stress, we're taking control of it.
Our approach to tackling student stress is structured into three clear phases. Phase 1 is a 14-day stressless challenge, where students actively engage in a daily stress relief task. Phase 2 expands our impactful presentations, spreading awareness and practical techniques to manage stress. Finally, Phase 3 involves a one-month check-in to measure long-term progress and reinforce healthy habits. Stressless 14 is a 2-week online mental wellness challenge designed like a mini quest where each day targets a different aspect of stress and overthinking. Participants see a scroll-like game board made of 14 hexagons, one for each day. Each hexagon represents a daily theme: digital detox, movement, self-reflection, and etc. When a participant clicks on day's hexagon, they choose one of the 5 short activities tailored to the day's theme, like breathing drill, gratitude note, or a 10-minute walk.
What we evaluated is the immediate stress drop after activities, cumulative improvement over time, growth in self-efficacy through written reflections, engagement through side quests and community metrics, and our key takeaways were 1,613 micro-activities completed across 14 themed days. 85% of every single task produced an immediate stress drop. 0% showed an increase. Instant relief grew by 90% over the fortnight, from negative 0.8 points on day 1 to negative 1.52 points on day 14, on a 1 to 10 scale.
Here's what we found during Phase 1 of the Stressless 14 program. Week 1, students started with an average stress rating of 5.29. By the end of the week, it dropped to 4.44, which is almost a 1% decrease. Statistically, this is really significant, as shown by the p-value of less than 0.0001, proving that the change wasn't just random. On week 2, we saw an even bigger result in stress level drops from 5.03 to 3.78, a reduction of 1.26 points. This effect is even stronger than week 1, showing that improvements build over time. This matters because changes aren't just numbers. They show that the program is effectively reducing stress week by week. The extremely low p-values confirm that it's not just by chance, it's by strategies we implemented. Overall, these results prove that consistent, structured approaches to stress can lead to real change. Here are the reflection recordings during the 14-week form from our participants.
In phase 2, we took the message of Stressors 14 and stress directly to students and parents through a series of impactful presentations. We hosted 5 major events, 4 in schools and 1 at a national rated tournament. We spoke to middle schoolers, high schoolers, pre-nursing students and even parents. The national tournament was our largest with over 150 students and 150 parents in attendance. We didn't just base our slides on theory. We collected real insights from experts. We interviewed professionals from Kaiser Permanente and Providence Health, including neurologists, psychologists, cardiologists, and occupational therapists. These presentations weren't just lectures. They were conversations. We shared the reality of how stress affects aspiring healthcare students, introduced the Stressors 14 program, and showed how small and consistent changes can lead to big improvements.
We used 2 surveys, one before the presentation and one after. These surveys were given to students across middle school, high school, and college settings. We focused on 3 main ideas: their knowledge about stress, their confidence in managing it, and their intent to use stress relief techniques. Our results showed a significant increase in knowledge, confidence, and intent to use stress management techniques across all age groups. The students improved their knowledge scores by 1.07 to 1.8 points out of 4, with statistically significant gains based on the p-values. Confidence levels rose over 50%, and the intent to use techniques shifted from low to strong levels, showing their impact across the board.
Key takeaways that we found are 4 out of 5 learners can still explain what stress does and how to tame it. Roughly 3 in every 4 students are still using at least one technique several times a week. 9 in 10 participants say that their stress lowered today than it was before the program. 93 to 94% are still willing to vouch for the program to their friends.
To keep participants engaged and on track, we created an interactive Canvas module that is directly connected to our Stressless 14 challenge. This platform isn't just for 14 days. It's an ongoing resource that students can access anytime. Through Canvas, students has access to helplines for immediate support, relaxation tools like guided meditation and breathing exercises, resource links like understanding stress management techniques. We wanted to make sure as many students as possible could benefit from Stressors 14. So we started advertising in our school, sharing the program with our friends and spreading the word throughout classroom announcements. Students who were interested received a personal invitation, giving them access to our Canvas module. We wanted to make sure that even after challenge ends, students have a space where they can continue their journey towards mental wellness, right at their fingertips.
How this affects our careers. For me, I want to go into gastroenterology. Understanding the impact of stress is essential. Chronic stress is closely related to gastrointestinal conditions such as IBS, acid reflux, and inflammatory bowel disease. By learning how to manage stress now, we're equipping ourselves with the insight and empathy needed to support patients dealing with these stress-sensitive disorders. In the future, this understanding will help me go beyond treating symptoms. I'll be able to educate my patients on lifestyle changes that support long-term gut health and improve their overall quality of life.
For dermatology, managing stress isn't about peace of mind. It's all about skin health. We have seen firsthand how stress triggers breakouts, worsens conditions like eczema, and slows down skin recovery. By mastering stress management early, we are preparing to help future patients understand the mind-skin connection. This presentation experience helped me practice not just sharing facts, but truly engaging with people, something that will be crucial in my patient care.
For neurology, understanding stress is critical. Chronic anxiety and long-term stress can lead to cognitive decline, memory issues, and even increase in risk for neurodegenerative diseases. Through these presentations, I have learned how to communicate complex ideas about mental health and brain functions to a wide audience, skills that will be vital when educating patients and families about neurological conditions in the future.
As we come to the end of this journey, I want you to think back to everything we have covered: the physical and mental toll of stress, the real stories we shared, and the concrete data that proves change is possible. Stress is not just a hurdle. It's a challenge that, when managed correctly, can build resilience, strengthen character, and prepare us for the demanding path of healthcare. Because, as we have shown, reducing stress isn't about feeling better today. It's about building stronger, healthier leaders for tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.